Hi, this is Candid Conversations, and I'm Deidre Malone, the president of the National Womens Political Caucus. I am so excited to talk to Sabrina, who is our president of the National Women's Political Caucus in California. Let me just say, Sabrina Ashjian is an attorney, but she's a powerhouse. She has extensive public policy, strategic planning, environmental, regulatory, and legislative experience. She currently teaches and serves as project director of the California Environmental Legislation and Policy Clinic at Emmett Institute on Climate Change and the Environment at UCLA School of Law. Sabrina, welcome to Candid Conversations.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here with you and with everyone. And I love that you're doing this podcast. Thank you so much.
And I'm excited too, because this gives our members and the public a really good opportunity, Sabrina, to learn more about our organization and to learn more about the leaders of our caucuses across the country. And so with California being one of our largest caucuses, I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you again for having me. And I think it's a fantastic way of broadening our reach and telling more people about our organization and amplifying the work that we're doing. So I think this is going to be a really exciting podcast, and I look forward to hearing all of the future episodes as well.
Well, let me just say, I always like to ask this question first, and I think it's important for our members and our supporters to know what made you decide to be involved in the National Women's Political Caucus.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of an interesting story, and hopefully others might find it interesting. But I'm originally from Los Angeles, and I had lived in DC and New York City and moved back to Los Angeles. And then I ended up moving to Central California to a very small town to work as an attorney. They had a shortage of public defenders, and so I went there to become a public defender. And it was very conservative and very much like an old boys network in the court. So I was not expecting that, having been from all of these other cities that I had been raised in and lived in. I wasn't really expecting this idea of feeling shut out because of being a woman, and just not feeling that network and that connection, and feeling like I was being told that I couldn't do things in the courtroom.
Right.
So I had a friend and a colleague who invited me to an event. The Fresno Caucus does this Women's Equality Day event, and Senator Barbara Boxer was speaking, and so many others, and it was incredible. And I went to this luncheon, and I just looked around and thought, who are these women in this community, and how have I not met and connected with them, and how can I connect with them? So I started frantically taking notes at the table of who was speaking and what they were talking about, and I ran after Karen Humphrey, who might be on your podcast in the future. She is a policy powerhouse. She was the first female mayor of that town, and she is an incredible leader in her own right. And I ran after her and asked how I could join, what I could do, how I could get involved. And they needed a secretary on the state board, and I signed up that day. And ever since, it's been probably a decade now, have been involved in various roles within the caucus, and have told everybody I know about the organization, and just was so thrilled to find people who really were so like-minded and passionate and wanted to do good work.
Well, I love your story. And let me just say, Karen is one of my favorite people. I think that, when I announced, it's funny, when I announced, Sabrina, that I was running for president, it was at an annual meeting in Alexandria. Yeah. And I remember Karen and Chelsea were there. And I remember just seeing Karen's face. Yes. And so we had a great conversation, and she's a big supporter. And, I work really hard because I don't want to let her down.
Yes, and they both were thrilled. They were texting me from that meeting. I remember how excited they were just for your vision and leadership. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well, let me just talk about your caucus. I mean, as I mentioned, you have one of the largest caucuses in NWPC. How many caucuses do you have across the state, Sabrina?
Yeah, so we have 11, and California, as you can imagine, is huge and diverse. And so it's just a feat that I'm trying to get to all of the caucuses around the state. But we are thrilled to have caucuses all around the state, and trying to build a couple more in some other locations, especially some areas that really need more women leadership at the local level. And so we're really excited about that. But we have caucuses in the Bay Area, Central California, many in Southern California down to San Diego. And so it's really fantastic to see just all of the grassroots leadership that goes on at the local level as well.
It's amazing. I'm always amazed because I'm on almost every email list now for caucuses. I'm telling you, I mean, Pasadena's doing great work. I
Yes.
mean, you just have so many caucuses that are out there. And what I really love is it's really a grassroots strategy. I mean, they're, talking to women, trying to get them interested in getting involved in the electoral process and considering running for office. So it's just absolutely amazing what the women in California are doing.
And I love the structure of National Women's Political Caucus, that there is that grassroots level, then there's the state organizing everything, so that we're able to amplify the work of the local levels and work on the state legislative races. And then there's under the overarch of the national organization, so we get to work with others around the country and really build power in that way. And so I just love the way that the organization is structured, and I think it really lends itself well to women getting involved at any level in any way that they want to.
With California being such a large state, Sabrina, what if you had to, think about what your priorities are as a caucus, what would you think your, top 2 to 3 would be?
Yes, so well, first of all, I want to say I'm really fortunate to have an incredible board this year. So I think we have really put together just a dynamic group that's really working so cohesively and coming up with really incredible ideas. We just did our strategic retreat a couple of months ago, and so I think the things that come up the most is we're very close in California to reaching parity in the state legislature. So that's a really big push for our 2024, 2026 elections to ensure that we don't backslide, which has happened in the past, and also that we continue to achieve parity. The next priority that we're really working on is a lot more policy work, which we're really excited about. I'll mention in a moment our advocacy day that we're doing, and we are co-sponsoring legislation this year with a new female senator on candidate mental health and using campaign funds, which is a really big issue. A lot of women don't get involved, don't run, just because of how much they're attacked and how, hard campaigns have become in terms of
Yes.
how personal they have become. And so we think that'll be really beneficial, but just doing a lot of policy work, because the whole reason why we're trying to get women elected is to make better policy, make stronger policy. So that's one of the priorities that we have. And then just internally, one of the issues that we really want to do is build the caucuses. So build a couple of more local caucuses in some areas, the Inland Empire and some other regions where historically there has not been a lot of infrastructure development for women leadership. And so we think that that will be really beneficial at the local level, but also state and federally. So I think those are the biggest priorities.
Well, and those are exciting. Being a former elected official, I can tell you that even back then, 10, 12 years ago, we were attacked. And, you don't even think about that when you're running, the effect that, the public could potentially have on you, your family. I remember, Sabrina, it was funny. My sons had talked me into getting a drop top car, like a convertible. And I was elected, and I kept thinking, oh my goodness, somebody's gonna throw at
Oh my
me after
gosh.
a vote
Right.
because we were getting, I got an email one time and the guy said, I hope you die and I hope you die from cancer.
Oh my
And
God.
I thought, who would actually say that to someone? So I did my research and I found out who the guy was, and he was married. And I
Oh,
emailed him, Sabrina, and I said, I'm going to pray for you because what you wished on me, I wouldn't wish on you, your wife, or anyone.
oh my God.
And it's unfortunate that you wish that on me. But it was just, you couldn't even go anywhere after a bad vote. So the work that you're doing
Mhm.
to try and help women, specifically because it does have an effect on you mentally,
Mhm.
and they need that support. So kudos to you and the California team for making that a priority for the state.
Yes, and we were so thankful to the senator for raising the issue and for working with all of the different women's groups in the state. So this came out of a report from an organization called California Women's List, which wrote a report about some of the barriers that women are facing to running for office. And this was one of the items that was highlighted. And so, which also lends to working cohesively and collaboratively with all of the other women's groups that are aligned with our mission and work so that we can, amplify and build on each other's work and be able to advance legislation such as this.
Well, I'm excited to report to our members that one of the priorities for me when I became president was to meet with like-minded organization leaders. So I have a meeting set up with Emily's List president in 2 weeks, with Emily's List, with there's Planned Parenthood, the national president of Planned Parenthood, and then there's one other that one of my former employees who's now in DC doing big things has set up all of these meetings. So I'm really, really, Emerge,
Oh,
Emerge,
yes,
national president. And so excited to see where there could potentially be some synergy
yes,
with
definitely.
our organization and their organizations. Yeah,
Oh, I
really
love that.
excited.
And I think we both were on, if I'm remembering correctly, I used to be on the state board for Emerge. I was the vice chair and I stepped away from it for this role as president of the National Womens Political Caucus, California. And I think you also were in a similar position and stepped away for this position,
Exactly.
right?
Founding board member for
Yes,
Emerge Tennessee. Yes,
yes.
yes. And I love it. The young lady that we hired to be our first executive director, Sabrina, she's now in DC and you might see her Crystal Knight on Fox News every now and then
Yes,
fighting the good fight.
yes.
But talking to her about helping get our DC caucus up and running. So really excited about that.
Yes, I have been asked by so many people because I went to college in DC. I'm still very involved with the Alumni Association there, and I have been asked by so many people about a DC specific chapter. So we'll have to put our
We'll,
heads
we'll
together.
talk we'll talk
Happy to
about
help.
that
Yeah.
because Carol's working on it now.
Oh,
And so
fantastic.
really excited about it. Well, I want to bring up the fact that I'm so happy. This national board is pretty much most of it's new members. And
Mhm.
so we have 3 out of California that I'm just so excited to be working with. Chelsea Byers is a rock star,
It is
uh, vice mayor for, is it the
West Hollywood. Mhm.
West
Yes,
Hollywood City Council, and then
doing incredible work.
she's amazing. And then she's our vice president over training and education, and just a rock star. I love her. And then Lita Schlossler. Lita is amazing, our vice president over political
Mhm.
planning. She leads our political planning committee. And let me just say, we're endorsing women left and right.
Yes.
And so really excited about that. And
And
Lita's
she knows every race going on in every area and can go into great detail about all of them. It's just incredible the knowledge that she, has and the strategy that she organizes.
she's amazing. And she can talk about a race in Massachusetts and what we should be doing. And so Really, really thrilled to have her on our national board. And then I met Maria Hernandez at our convention, and we immediately clicked. And I asked her to serve as our treasurer, and she is keeping me on track. She's phenomenal. She's, you know, a leader in that nonprofit space and still doing work on the local level in California.
Yes, she is phenomenal. And I just met her a few months ago and I was thrilled. It was right before she announced that she was going to join the national board, and I was thrilled about it. She is the state president, or I'm sorry, the local president for the Sacramento caucus, which is where our state capital is, and very politically connected region. And she's just been doing fantastic work, and she's a joy to work with.
Well, she told me recently it was about I guess the immediate past president that passed that was such a leader
Mhm.
that recruited her. And we were just so sorry for her loss. But I'm also happy that you, as the state president, and Angelica Ramos is on our full board. So
Yes.
thank you so much for serving.
Yes, it's wonderful to serve nationally and to meet all of the other women that are around the country doing this work. I just cannot tell you, the board meetings are so inspiring. It's so wonderful to hear what's happening around the country, because we get so, into our own echo chambers of our own region and, the issues that we're working on. And so it's incredible to meet with women from all over and find out some best practices, what's worked, what hasn't worked, how we can support one another, great ideas that people have. And so it's my favorite couple of hours a month or every other month.
Good. Well, now you've got something big going on. Talk to us about that, because I want our viewers to know what's going to happen. Is it with Advocacy Day?
Yes, yes. So we have our annual Advocacy Day this week. I'm not sure exactly when this is airing, but our Advocacy Day is happening this
Next week.
week. And it is an annual event. We have about 24 members from our caucuses around the state meeting with 24 legislators offices. And we have done this as a one-day event, as a couple of day event, and we really want to figure out how to make it the most effective for the women who want to join us from around the state. So if you are in California and you'd like to join us next year, please do get involved. If you are anywhere around the country and just want to see what we're up to, follow our social media channels where we will be highlighting the legislative visits and our policy issues. We are supporting and amplifying a number of bills that are aligned with our bottom line issues, and have dozens more that we're writing letters of support on, but we have a couple of priority bills that we're following and supporting and lending our voice to. And so this is just a fantastic way of meeting with our representatives and telling them about the importance of National Women's Political Caucus, but also about the priority issues that we're advocating for and why. And it's a great way for people to get plugged in. And I have to say, this year is, in my mind, the most exciting, because we have some high school students who are joining us. So we have some high school students who are interning with the caucus in various locations, as well as some members who are bringing their children. So we have teenagers all the way up to women who are in their 70s and 80s. And every decade in between. And so it's really incredible to see just an intergenerational, so many different ethnicities and backgrounds and regions of California coming together to advocate on these issues. And I think it's just such a fantastic melting pot that really is, what we are trying to achieve everywhere. And so it's going to be an exciting day. I'm looking forward to it, and I look forward to talking about it after with everyone.
Oh, it sounds so exciting. And I love the fact that you're taking high school students to your Advocacy Day, because it's so important for them to understand government and how it affects their everyday lives. And, some adults don't even understand that.
Yeah.
So starting young, Sabrina, taking them with you, I think that's just absolutely amazing.
Yes, and they were wondering, if we would allow them to come with us, and we thought, allow, like, of course, you're the future, you are who we are trying to inspire. And I also really want people to see how government can work, that you can go and advocate and speak up on the issues that you care about and make a difference. Because I think that people get so bogged down by a lot of the national news or punditry that goes on that just talks about the negative. And so I think really being able to see the interactions that you can have with your representatives and how you really can make a difference is really important.
I'm telling you, last year, and you'll remember this because it was national news in Tennessee, the Coventry school
Mm-hmm.
murders.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in Nashville, our state capital, and there were 50 women who were being honored by the Senate. But that day, there were students, there were children, there were moms
Oh my gosh.
everywhere in that hallway lobbying elected officials
Mm-hmm.
around gun reform issues.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the most beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tragedy, of course, but it activated
Mm-hmm.
women, to bring their children out. There were babies in strollers there at the
Wow.
Capitol,
Oh my gosh.
trying to talk to elected officials
Mm-hmm.
about, gun reform issues. And now in our state, Sabrina, they've now banned, voters from coming in and bringing signs in the People's House. It's
Oh,
just so backwaters. But
wow.
anyway, we
No
don't want to talk
idea.
about Tennessee. We want to talk
No,
about
no, no.
California.
I had no idea, but I really think that that is how government should work, where people are able to talk directly to their representatives about the issues that matter to them and why. And you don't have to memorize a million statistics. You don't have to go in with a PhD. That you really can just talk about your own individual experiences. And I think that I want to see people be able to do that more, which is probably also why I'm in teaching, that I really believe
Yes.
in that concept.
Well, look, California has so many great female elected officials in Congress. I mean, when you think about Auntie Maxine
Yes, yes,
Waters, you
yes,
know, Speaker Emeritus Nancy
yes.
Pelosi, you think about Barbara Lee and Katie
Mhm,
Porter, and then, of
mhm.
course, our Vice President, Kamala
Yes,
Harris. I mean, California just creates them, right?
yes, yes. We are so fortunate here. There are just incredible women in office at all levels, and we're so fortunate to get to work with a lot of them. And they really have been the kind of women champions who have lifted others behind them and have really supported and amplified and walked the walk. A lot of
Yes.
people sometimes get into office just to then advance their own interests. And all of the women electeds who we've endorsed and supported and stood by really are there for the advancement of women and to help working families, to help women, to help on all issues that are the ones that we care about. So we are very fortunate here and feel very lucky. I know
Well,
that's not the case everywhere, so we're very
it's
lucky.
it's really not the case everywhere. So, I mean, there are those of us in some of these red states that were fighting really hard. I have to give kudos to Tennessee State President. I mean, she's challenging in all 95 counties. She's recruiting women to run and
Yes.
out to try and change our state legislature. And I know that other caucuses that we have across the country are doing the same. So, I'm just so proud of our caucus members because we're putting in the work. And
Yes.
so I want to share with you
Yes,
some
please.
really exciting news.
I'm looking forward to it.
We just found out today that we can advance the fact that one of our founders of the National Women's Political Caucus, the Gloria Steinem, is going to do a major fundraiser for our organization.
That is
And
fantastic.
we're just so excited. So May 1st, it's going to be virtual. So our members and people we want to be members of our caucus can go to Eventbrite and get their ticket and join us. As you know, Sabrina, the funds that we're raising will support those incredible candidates that we're endorsing at the national level, the federal level, and also help with our education, programming. So we're really, really excited about that. I mean, we've been wanting to
That's
get her for a
phenomenal.
while. Isn't that exciting?
It is so exciting. Oh my gosh. I know so many people are going to be so excited about this news. And I love it also because we're amplifying our history of NWPC and one of our founders. And I think that so many people want to hear from her and want to hear, her story and participate with our organization as a result of it. So this is huge news. I'm so excited to start
It's
amplifying it.
it is huge. She just turned 90 in March. And so it's a big deal for us in our national organization. So we're really, really excited. Sabrina, so if there are women and men, because we
Yes,
accept men as members of our
yes,
organization,
definitely.
that want to join the California caucus, what do they need to do?
Yes, so they can reach out to me personally if they would like to at Sabrina.Ashjian@gmail.com, or go onto our website, NWPCCA.org, and you can find your local caucus there. You can also find out about the events that we're doing statewide and how to get involved. You can also follow and like our social media channels and see what we're up to and how you can plug in and get involved, but we would love to have you. So please reach out, and we are looking forward to meeting you. And thank you, Deidre, so much for all of your visionary leadership and the work that you're doing, as well as for organizing this conversation, because it's been just such a pleasure to talk with you.
Sabrina, thank you so much for being my second guest on Candid Conversations. I am so happy to have you on, and really wanting our members to know more about the great work that you and the members in California are doing. Thank you so much for your leadership. And I just appreciate, you so much because you've welcomed me with open arms. And I just appreciate you so much. So
Thank you.
thank you again for being on Candid Conversations.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
You too, and everybody, remember the next Candid Conversation will be with one of our founders, Gloria Steinem. So, Sabrina, have a great evening, and I'll see you soon.
You as well. Thank you so much. Take
All
care.
right, take care.